Dark clouds filled the sky above the king's palace. The air was thick with the promise of rain, and the atmosphere was heavy with tension. It was as if the heavens themselves were warning of the events about to unfold. A storm was coming. The wind made a sad, lonely sound, howling through the palace grounds like a mournful ghost. Trees swayed violently, and the palace walls creaked under the pressure of the impending tempest. The palace was tall and grand, a symbol of power and riches. Its towering spires reached for the sky, and its walls were adorned with intricate carvings and precious stones. It stood as a testament to the kingdom's glory and the king's might. But inside, hidden from view, a shadow moved. It slithered through the dimly lit corridors, avoiding the gaze of the guards and the flickering torchlight. This shadow had a purpose, a mission that required utmost stealth. It was a thief, quietly making his way through the halls. His movements were calculated and precise, each step taken with care to avoid detection. He had studied the palace layout for weeks, knowing exactly where to go and what to avoid. He didn't make a sound, but his heart beat fast. The thrill of the heist and the fear of getting caught created a symphony of adrenaline in his veins. Every creak of the floorboards, every distant footstep heightened his senses. He reached the Queen's room. The door was locked, but he knew how to get in. This was the moment he had been preparing for, the culmination of his meticulous planning and daring ambition. He quickly picked the lock, like he had done many times before. The mechanism clicked open, and he slipped inside, ready to claim his prize. Little did he know, the night held more surprises than he had bargained for. The room was decorated with expensive things. Jewels glittered under the light of candles. But the thief didn't care about any of that. He only wanted one thing. On a table by the Queen's bed lay a golden key. It was covered in diamonds, shining even in the dim light. He grabbed the key without making a sound and quickly left the room. He was gone before the rain even started. The Queen was very angry. Her helper shook with fear. The key was gone. Stolen. Queen, find him. Find the thief. Her advisors whispered to each other. Who could have done this? How? There was only one person who could help. They needed the best. The Queen sent for Sherlock Holmes. Only he could solve this mystery. Sherlock Holmes arrived at the palace with his friend Watson. The grandeur of the palace was evident from the moment they stepped through the gates. The towering spires and intricate carvings spoke of a history rich with secrets and stories untold. Holmes, with his keen eye for detail, immediately began to take in his surroundings, noting every small detail that might be of importance later. He looked carefully at the Queen's room. The opulence of the room was overwhelming, with its luxurious drapes and ornate furniture. Yet Holmes's focus was unwavering as he scanned the room for any signs of disturbance or clues that might lead them to the truth. He studied the lock, the table, the place where the key had been. Each item was scrutinized with the precision of a master detective. The lock showed no signs of tampering, the table was undisturbed, and the absence of the key was a puzzle in itself. Holmes's mind raced as he pieced together the fragments of the mystery.
The door wasn't broken open. This fact alone suggested that the intruder had access to the room without force. It was a crucial piece of information that narrowed down the list of suspects significantly. Maybe someone who works here took it. The palace staff were numerous, and each one had their own secrets and motives. Holmes knew that the key to solving the mystery lay in uncovering these hidden truths.
Watson wrote in his notebook. He meticulously recorded every observation and deduction made by Holmes. His notes would be invaluable in piecing together the events that had transpired. He knew that look on Holmes's face. It was the look of a man deep in thought, processing every detail and forming a theory. Watson had seen it many times before and knew that it meant Holmes was close to a breakthrough. They had a mystery to solve. The stakes were high, and the pressure was mounting. Every second counted as they worked to uncover the truth behind the missing key and the secrets it held. Holmes asked the workers questions. The guards were nervous. The maids were scared. Each response was carefully analysed, and every reaction noted. Holmes's sharp mind missed nothing as he sifted through the information. Even the Queen's advisor seemed upset. Everyone had secrets. Holmes could tell. The tension in the palace was palpable, and Holmes knew that the truth was within reach. It was only a matter of time before the pieces of the puzzle fell into place.
"The new maid," someone whispered.
Holmes turned around. A group of servants stood nearby, their faces pale.
"Her brother visited recently," another voice whispered. "He looked like a bad person."
Holmes listened closely. The whispers told a story. A brother who needed help. A sister who worked for the Queen. Could it really be that simple? Holmes wasn't sure, but he didn't say anything. He needed proof, not guesses. The maid was young. Her eyes were red from crying. Holmes looked at her closely. He saw her fear, but he also thought she felt guilty.
"Tell me about your brother," he said gently.
The maid didn't answer right away. Her voice was very quiet.
"He came to see me," she said. "He needed money. He was desperate."
She couldn't say anything else. She looked around the room like she wanted to run away. The brother was caught just outside the city. He admitted everything right away. Seeing his sister cry made him tell the truth. He had traded the key for a little bit of money. He just wanted to help his family. He sounded ashamed.
"I just wanted to help my family."
The Queen listened to him. She wasn't angry anymore. Now she felt sorry for him. She had been robbed, but this man had only done it because he was desperate, not because he was bad. The key was found. The thief was caught. It was a moment of triumph for the royal court, a testament to the relentless pursuit of justice. The thief, a young man with a troubled past, had stolen the key in a desperate attempt to change his fate. The right thing had been done. The scales of justice had tipped in favor of the law, and the court was ready to deliver its verdict. The atmosphere was tense, filled with anticipation and the weight of centuries-old traditions. But the Queen surprised everyone. In a move that defied expectations, she chose a path less traveled. Her decision was not just about justice, but about compassion and understanding. She decided to be kind. Her eyes softened as she looked at the young man, seeing not just a thief, but a soul in need of redemption. Her words were gentle yet firm, echoing through the grand hall. She forgave the brother and told him to find a job where he could be honest. Her proclamation was met with gasps and murmurs, but she stood resolute. She believed in second chances, in the power of mercy to transform lives. He would pay back what he owed, not with money, but by working for the Queen. The young man, humbled and grateful, pledged his loyalty. He saw this as an opportunity to rebuild his life, to prove his worth.
Holmes left the palace. The storm was over. The detective, known for his sharp mind and keen sense of justice, had played his part. He had uncovered the truth, but it was the Queen's mercy that had brought closure. The moon shone on the wet street. The night was calm, a stark contrast to the turmoil that had unfolded. The cobblestones glistened under the moonlight, reflecting the serenity that had finally settled over the kingdom. He had solved the case, but it was a close one. The detective knew that justice was not always black and white. It was a delicate balance, a dance between right and wrong, mercy and punishment. It seemed like people were always more complicated than any locked door. He smiled a little, another mystery solved. As he walked away, he couldn't help but think about the Queen's decision. It was a reminder that sometimes the greatest acts of justice are tempered with mercy.